now we're recording. I will actually record an intro over again to what you missed so that you'll have it all together. Okay, go ahead. Oh, okay. All right, so I'll go ahead. um, okay, so we're gonna look at our apex now, and the apex in I have all of your charts, so if you have yours in front of you, you can look at it or you can just listen in. We'll start with Raya's chart, which is the apex is Neptune and Chiron. Yeah, we'll just focus on the apex first. We'll go slowly, okay? The apex is Neptune and Chiron. For Jamaica, it is Pluto and Chiron. And for Harmony, it is Jupiter and the Ascendant. Very interesting. So the apex is the thing that you're pointing towards in your charts. That is the assignment. Okay, that's the formula for that. The apex is your assignment. It's like, this is what you have been called to do. Okay, so let's go through your different ones. And the formulas that I give you are word formulas, right? They're actually really inspired by Kamisha. I think a lot of you guys know about Black Fire Nation. And so, in being a follower of her work, I created my own like word formulas to the astrology. So in these formulas, it gives you a chance to interpret it like art, and you come up with your own concept. So you grow, it's a seed and it's something that you grow out of. That's how I'd love to share the formulas with you. And so this is my like technique that I'm creating with astrology in action. So in everything that I do, it's these sentence formulas. So your apex is your assignment. Oh, okay. So let's go to, I'm on Raya's. Okay, I'm on Raya's. This is Chiron. So and Jamaica both have Chiron on one of their apex. Okay, so your assignment is connected to uncovering the things that you needed through the what you call are the growing pains of childhood. So if you have Chiron as your assignment, children is part of your assignment. That's what the finger of God is pointing to. Okay. And so Chiron is connecting you to what are the things that you needed and that you can heal through yourself, of course, and give, right? It's an alchemist energy, Chiron. And you're looking through inner child work. And also, if you're around children often, that pretty much is a sign that you're going in the right direction, right? So if we're moving with the apex, then we are getting that affirmation. If we're not, that's okay, but you might want to find what are the ways that are blocking or how ways you want to open up for that. Okay, so I'm just going to start there, but we'll go even deeper. I just want to make sure everybody has something to focus on. So for Harmony, we'll go with your Jupiter first. So if you have Jupiter as your assignment, let me just see if anyone else has Jupiter. If you have Jupiter as your assignment, you're looking at Jupiter for actually being a level of teaching and publishing and giving, distributing out your ideas. So Jupiter is wisdom, and it's the ideals and philosophies on life. So if you find yourself in positions where you're able to have people to give your ideas to, something like an orator or podcast, or even, marketing and anything where you're giving and sharing philosophies, that is a point in the right direction, or just teaching in general. So with your assignment, you have certain parts in the year and certain aspects to your assignment that is going to probably bring it out more for you. Okay, so so let's start with Harmony. Harmony, you have it in the season of Libra. So And also, when you're around Libran things and people that may even have the sign or have qualities to the sign, that's those are really significant like moments in life, or people to consider. How are they helping you towards that assignment? And so it usually should be something harmonious. For you, you have Saturn here, and Saturn can be meaning that you might work with a partner, you might work with someone else who has more management capabilities, or, maybe you work with a manager, actually. You don't work alone. Yeah, and also because it's in Libra, that double affirms it. But the manager partnership is what I see here for you. Okay, for Jamaica's chart, let me see the Chiron. Okay, Chiron is in Taurus. Well, Taurus is connected to possessions. And so a lot of your energy with Chiron is pointing towards being like a collector. And because it's in the seventh house, this could be in union with someone else as well. But it also can be that you have many different partners. It really can be that. This could be mainly on a business level, but it may be, I actually see an expansion of business working with children with this type of placement, because it's a very it's a very professional house. Once you get past the sixth house, things are very professional. So with having it here, you could be working on a professional level with someone else towards children. That would probably be a sign that you're moving, in that direction. So we're going to talk about challenges, but first we're just going through the assignments, and I want to make sure everyone gets theirs. Okay, so for Rhea, you have Chiron, okay, in Gemini, and this is really a nice place for Chiron because it is very youthful, Gemini, in its thinking, and Chiron also likes to play. It's all about children. So in working with this, you could, and because it's in the 11th house too, sorry, I'm seeing so many things at once. This gives you a chance to work in, definitely I feel like working in groups with other people who are also influencing the progression of children. So this could be like working on a board in organizations. It can be connected to marketing as well with Gemini. And I don't know, I feel something with helping children communicate with each other on some levels. So I'll try to keep it broad to give you, just the painting of where it's going. Okay, so your assignments are also, remember the season, that's what I was saying. The season of Gemini also is a really good time where you might want to spend more time focusing on what direction I'm going in life, where can I, put more of my energy towards my yacht. Jamaica, that would be for you the season of Taurus, and Harmony, we said Jupiter, so it would be the season of Libra. That's for your first yachts. Now, does everyone have... That's really cool. Everyone has 2 yachts, so that's... yacht is a rare thing, so it's really cool to find people who have... And a lot of it is because of a generation we're born in, so it's just really cool how things turn out, isn't it? Okay, so now we're looking at the base of your yacht. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm rushing this. Let's go at your second apex. Okay, so everybody has 2, so let's get your second one. All right, so for Rhea, you have Neptune at the finger, pointing at the finger of your yacht. Okay, so Neptune is connected to an assignment that is very compassionate, giving, charitable. It has a need to not worry about exchanges as much as just generosity, altruism in a lot of ways. It's also therapeutic, and it's connected to our subconscious. Neptune can be something that also is more playful, like role playing, and it's also very it's a humbling energy because like when you think of like King Triton, I always think of King Triton and the force of the anger of the father. That's what Neptune, that's how I like to see Neptune these days, and how that energy can almost humble you, maybe a little bit too much into fear, but it's still that humbling energy, like being in the ocean and recognizing how small you are, things like that. So with Neptune being at your apex, your assignment is to operate almost like this. I want to say a service oriented person that sacrifices ego. And your assignment is highlighted and can be highlighted during the season of Capricorn. This is also connecting you to your sixth house. So this has to do with purpose and sense of profession as well. It's very much about, are you living a daily life that you are spiritually connected to, where you feel like you are giving and almost like emptying yourself into the world. And through a way that is with Capricorn connecting to business. And so this could be something about just like your daily business and making sure that time doesn't escape you. Capricorn ruling over management and taking care of things and being on top of things. Neptune in Capricorn is about really not having a strong hold on time, but really just not letting time escape you and enjoying the moment and seeing how precious time is. These are things that are important so that you're motivated to be on top of your schedule in a way that it serves you, that you feel like you're purposefully living in life. The role that Neptune plays is almost like a nurse, and where Chiron in your chart is connected to children, Neptune is like a nurse. And what's interesting, let me just look at yours. Yeah, so they both are working in both of your yachts, so they're also not getting along at the same time. So we'll talk about that in the next session. But at least you know the apex of your assignments, which is children and also nurse or nursing. That'll be a good formula for you. Jamikia, we're going to look at yours now. So we talked about Chiron. Your Pluto is... Okay, so we have Pluto in Scorpio. And this is connected to a psychologist. It's a psychic energy that is about how the mind has adapted to life, right? In a sense of survival, empowerment. And so your assignment is to be a psychologist. And in that 12th house, it also is the subconscious. It's very deep. I feel like, the first thing I thought of was like keys falling to the bottom of the ocean. Something that I feel like we've talked about this in one of your gene keys, actually. I feel like there's like either an animal or a gene key or something that reminds me of me saying something like this. But your work here is also very mysterious, and it isn't seen by a lot of people. This is a hidden place. But it has a lot to do with your self-concept. I just posted something on the 12th house and self-concept because I'm working on a new thing there. So your 12th house having the apex here is that your assignment is also about what is the role that you play that helps to feed your self-concept. And being a psychologist is a very interesting way to see it. This can, of course, still be applied to anything you want to do. It's a playful way of using the meaning of Pluto. Okay, so in understanding this, let me just look at, yeah, also you have two yads, and Chiron, which is the apex of the second one, is also not agreeing with Pluto. So we'll talk about that. But this is why we have in our yachts these rare experiences where we're here to overcome something, and that's what makes it like so much more important in the assignment. Okay, so for the last of the apex, we're going to look at harmonies. Okay, and then we'll take a break and see just what you guys might be feeling about your assignments. You know, nothing logical, just how you feel about them. Okay, so we spoke about Jupiter. Your ascendant is the other apex, which is really interesting. It's very remarkable because the ascendant is probably what you would say the strongest of the output of a natal chart, right? It's the Aries first house. Even though you have Pisces as your ascendant, it's the Aries first house. So, with it being the assignment, it's all about how you show yourself. In which through Pisces, this isn't like just abrupt or blunt. Um, this is connected to a fantastical fantasy, mystical way of presenting yourself that um, is really cool. I'm trying to think of what I would call it, and I'm having trouble with the role that it would be. But we could definitely, you know what? I would definitely say a model or the photographer, with it being on the ascendant on Pisces, because it's about your physical presentation, but the Pisces energy is the photographer. So it's also about how you see yourself, and it's that back and forth relationship between the photographer and the one who's presenting. So this could be I guess a mirror also, like really seeing that your assignment is connected to a mirror, a mirroring of yourself, and wanting to output a beautiful way of expressing it, of showcasing it. Pisces is connecting. When I think of this, I think of Pisces connecting to storytelling and how we tell each other stories that preserve our, our culture and our sense of who we are and human evolution in a lot of ways. So with it being on the ascendant, it's very mystical. It doesn't have a straight blunt way of expressing itself. So these assignments give you a chance to kind of build the part of you that feels like maybe you are rare, that you're different, a late bloomer, that you're different than the rest. These assignments are helping you to see what you have been called to do, which gives you a sense of life, a purpose, on top of all the other things that you may have already feel called to do, but kind of ties you into a cosmic agreement. So I see it as you can create different stories around the finger of God because people have, but see it as the power of the spirit in this to choose a life and to choose the experiences that you may have gone through for a reason bigger than maybe you remember, or that that you can understand. Okay, so we went through just the apex so far, and the assignment is important in really grasping. So just tell me briefly how you feel about the ones, what you understand, like what you understand about the planet, how you think you might apply it to life, and anything else that you want to share. Whoever wants to go first.
So, with me, you like as you were explaining everything about the apex, for us individually, for mine in particular, I know that I'm right on time, even though it's kind of been like a back and forth thing as far as like trying to get in with the children or trying to get into schools. Like it's been like a tug of war to get in there. It's like So I was kind of wondering, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Why is it taking so long for me, not being patient? So that might be that area of like, and then when I kind of like was like, you know what? Whatever happens. And then all of a sudden everything started falling through.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with children, my passion has grown more for them, like the hunger to be able to help them. And it's not just, it's like psychologically.
Mm-hmm.
I've even been wanting to go back to school to deal with EMDR. It's eye movement desensitization and reprogramming, where you do like an exercise. But I haven't been wanting to work with adults in the same way. I've been very much so gravitating towards the children more.
Mm-hmm.
In the last year, it was about the adults, and then it just something in me just started switching.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about doing something with the mothers later, maybe
Mm-hmm.
like an organization where it's about the mother and the son, like that trauma,
Mm-hmm.
the bond and different things within them, because of the boys. Not that the girls aren't more important or less important or anything like that. I just feel like that lack of emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
which starts with the mothers.
Right.
So so I think this is right on point. But
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to explaining about the part that's like that tug of war area in there,
Okay.
like where we have that challenge at, so I
Okay.
can do something to help that.
Right. Make movements towards that.
Correct.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Um.
Hey, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica, do you happen to be in New York?
No, but I'm definitely planning to travel a lot. So that's definitely the plan. I've never been to New York, but I do plan to go there. I've been talking
Um,
about that with Karina for a while now.
because my godfather has an inn for the New York City School District.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm happy to do is connect you, either now or when it makes sense, whatever. But that might be a helpful connection for you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. And just to piggyback, um, so I got to be honest, I kind of got lost in my own thoughts because you said, children and nursing, and all I can think of is, oh shit, my partner wants to have a baby, and I just,
Yeah. That's well. That's
I'm
children.
done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done because I had a son at 17,
Mm-hmm.
so he's 21 now. I feel like I should be allowed to have a little bit of freedom. Listening to this, I'm like, oh, fuck. So forgive my language, forgive me. Also, you had mentioned about time, which was really interesting because I suffer from severe time blindness. Like, I'm shocked that I
Mm-hmm.
was even on the Zoom on time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in time. Linear time is not a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but just the fact that you're saying, the time is now,
Mm-hmm.
to be aware of it and focus on it, it's just a kick in the pants that, it is important. Even though I feel how I feel, things definitely are on somebody's time schedule, and I need to be following that, at least to be awake.
Right. That's the Neptune apex. Yeah, Neptune in Capricorn. For you, that apex can be a loss of time, but some of that can be understood by what is it that you're getting lost in. If you're feeling very purposefully in it, then I feel like that could be a good sign for you. Um, there's also a lot of hospitality with Neptune in working with um, other people and just being more connected to the charitable part of ourselves that makes us like when you have a moment where a past and future really don't exist and you're so locked into what you're doing that you have a concept of a loss of time. Like it's timelessness is the word. That's Gene Key 5 actually. So that's connecting to our like the structure of time creates in Gene Key 5 they say the impatience, which is negativity underneath impatience. So Neptune in Capricorn is almost like helping people to experience timelessness, that true present moment. So there, if you're feeling like you're somewhere along those lines, then I think that you're moving towards your assignment. Harmony, would you do you have the ability to share? I'm not sure if you're still driving. So you can jump in whenever you can. At least about your, just about your apex. Let me just look here. Which for you is Jupiter and the ascendant. And Jamekia was Chiron and Pluto. We talked about Pluto.
I thought I had four, but I know the other two they probably involve asteroids. So
Okay.
the two that
Mm-hmm.
you see or chose, um, I know they are intertwined. So the point of release is actually the apex for one, and on the other one, the apex is the point of release for the other one. So for
Exactly.
me, it was kind of, yeah, like it's my like it's like God to ask them if I had like a life story. But the it was like a chemistry for me.
Mm-hmm.
They were synced. I've always had a partner. Um, After I
Your
divorced my husband,
your audio is breaking up just a little bit for me.
I'll probably drive it.
Okay.
Wait a minute when I stop.
Okay.
I should be home. Am I the last person?
Yeah. Because you're driving, and I also just want to make sure you're focused. You can always just interrupt when you are more, you know, able to, and we can just stop and listen when you're able to. It sounds like you're okay. It sounds like you're a little broken up at the moment. Um, okay, so we're going to. We'll wait. If Harmony jumps in, we'll let her jump in when she can, and it'll be okay to interrupt what we're doing. Let's move into the base. The base is connected to the things that are making it a little bit more difficult. The quincunx and your yods create rubbing together in a way that is kind of displeasing, and you feel it all the time within the nuances of life. You find that you have disconnected out of harmony with a flow in life. Now, this is something that everybody does all the time. So why is it that the yod shows itself this way? It will show itself in the way where I guess I like to call it being in a funk. Like you have a something that you can't really understand that is holding you away from it. I'll tell you that with my yod and Pluto, the reason that I come to this is that the assignment brought out a lot of too much energy, right? So all of your yods can have a level of too much with it where they're like not really in balance. Okay, so for me, Pluto, it's digging too deep, going too far. Okay, for harmony, Jupiter for you is having too much information or too much knowledge. So, Jupiter can have an energy of almost being too right. or being the only one that's right. So that's important to see where it may go too far. And
Child, I wish it was status, but maybe trying to jump me, probably wrong and everything. Like, okay, let me go right in my journal. I'm too big for y'all.
So it's definitely I'll tell you with my story where I wanted to put this in here, the idea of too much self-importance and the idea of too um you know just going too far, was that the self, it's like when you work with your yod, something locks in. For me, it's psychologically, right? For Harmony, it may be a sense of education, a new piece of knowledge, or a new epiphany. So it might be a lot of light, right? Where mine would be a lot of dark, especially your Harmony, you have Jupiter and I have Pluto. Also for Jamaica, who has Pluto, right? It's like a lot of dark, so it could be going too deep. And then for Rhea, it's definitely too wide, like too far away, too out of reach. And so that's especially when we were talking about time, that we were talking about the balance of that. So in understanding that this is coming from those levels of too much self-importance. And I'm sure there probably some sort of way that they would break this down in psychology. Maybe that's just my Pluto talking, but I don't think it would be narcissism, maybe something else, but it's connected to, well, I've had these rare experiences, these things that make me feel like I'm different than the rest. Maybe I truly am different from the rest, and then there are, it goes too far. So it's definitely not to shame us for the greatness that the assignment is, but it's just to recognize that, I have a lot of Saturnian energy next to my Pluto. So my motivations in sharing the regulations of it is important, I guess. Okay, so let's get to the base. Let's get to the base. With the base of it is where things are rubbed the wrong way. And so when they're rubbed the wrong way, right, that's when your apex goes out of whack. So that's how I want you to see the formula. Let's start with Jamaica's this time first. So we're looking at a base of, okay, for the first one, it's gonna be Chiron. We'll use Chiron as your first one. The base on this is Pluto and Neptune. These two are rubbing together, creating a lot of, okay, so they're creating sexual energy together. Pluto and Neptune. That's because they're in a sextile. They like each other. They're very attracted to each other. But this energy is literally like, inviting in a third party. And when we do that, we get out of these ideals and are interrupted by something else that wants to join the party. And that's your apex. That's the assignment. So for you with Neptune and Pluto having this, sexual energy together in a sextile, they really like to go deep, and the fantasy and the depth are beautiful. To truly see how deep and wide things go. Definitely with Pluto and Neptune. They're working really well together. They really like each other. But when Chiron comes in, this can interrupt the fun that they're having. For you, the apex is Chiron. All right, so I want you to follow me with your story so that you'll see where I'm going with everyone. Let me give Rhea your story. And we'll just start with one for now. So the apex is Chiron, and actually they're both the same. So are you guys both born within the same time? Oh yeah, within the year of each other. So that's cool. Okay, so you both have the same thing. For Rhea, you have Neptune and Pluto having these lovely relationships together. They are enjoying the depth and the wideness of where things go, right? So Chiron, which is connected to that sense of assignment when it comes to children, is actually interrupting the fun that they're having. So when we think of this idea of a threesome, I mean, I've gone with this in so many ways. It can really entertain in your idea what fun you can have, but also where the friction is, right? So you're opening yourself to understanding that there is an ideal between the two, your base. There's an ideal between the two, but an interruption from the third creates how can we have more fun with this? And that's where it starts to really be powerfully trying to find its way. So the assignment is almost an obstacle at the same time, right? And there's two things that want to happen and they both enjoy each other, but the third is not necessarily an unenjoyable experience. It's just how do we fit them together? Okay, harmony. Let's use your Jupiter at the apex. You have ascendant and Chiron at the base. So Chiron actually is, and I wanted to say this for Rhea too, it can be your inner child as well. And also for Jamaica, yeah, because yours is also Chiron. So in understanding children, it's also your inner child, right? And this is a perfect example for harmonies because hers is at the base. So her inner child with the ascendant plays very well together. They have really good, fun relationships with each other. A playfulness that yearns to be, and especially like whatever might have been deprived or didn't get enough, that happens with Chiron. It wants to express itself beautifully with the ascendant. They're having fun, but then there's this need of almost like not responsibility, but a wisdom that needs to come with the play. And then that threesome will work beautifully together. But if that apex is messing with the play, right, the inner child working with the ascendant, then we're not having as much fun. So the way to also look at it is to look at each individual one in itself. So for harmony, Chiron and Jupiter are in this quincunx together, and they rub each other wrong in a lot of ways because Chiron is a very sensitive little person, and Jupiter is this big, jolly greatness. And so, especially let me just look at it in your chart in the second house to the seventh house, the sense of self-worth and the sense of who you are is this little person, and connecting to the playfulness, it's so needed to remind self of its importance and of its self-esteem. Playfulness is needed. And Jupiter is wanting to play, but it's playing in a more professional place. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, it should be five. Five signs away. So they don't know each other. It's like, two different seasons. Okay, so the Libra Jupiter and Taurus play, which is interesting because they're both Venusian, but because they're this much away from each other, one is more sophisticated than the other. And your Jupiter is playing out that sophistication more in Libra. And it can interrupt the more inner play that your base enjoys. So that's one way that I would see that. So you can do these on your own too, which is to look at the base and interrelate it with your apex. And so when you're doing these things, this is what I do when I'm looking at them, is that you can create a story with why they are having friction with each other. This is something that I would actually do if I was having like a rough day. And the day that I had that little mental crises, and really was a few days that I was overcoming it, I realized that my that interruption of the apex or of the third party, right? The threesome that they're having, the interruption of the third party, which was my Pluto, was overdoing it, right? So these are the things that I want to share with it when applying to life. That's what I really want to get through in this. So let me look at Jamikia's. Oh wait, whose did I look? look at before. Sorry.
You were looking at harmonies.
Right.
First, it was us two together. Me
Okay.
and Ray harmony.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so let me just do Jamaica's. Let's look at the other one, right? So let's move on to the second. Just checking on our time. Okay, let's move on to the second one. When we're looking at yours, you have a base. Also think I also hope that this will help with if you're reading other people's as well. Just know that the base are having fun, right? And the apex is in the assignment. And so the fun and the sexual relation and the sextile that's happening and the assignment have to meet in this threesome and enjoy each other. And that's the dilemma. So that's the formula. Okay. For Jamaica, you have Pluto, because we did Chiron. Okay, so you have Pluto at the assignment, and then the Mercury and Chiron are at the base. This creates a lot of fun between your communication and inner child. And let's move this up into the house systems. So, in looking at, oh yeah, especially with in the chart that I'm looking at, Mercury is in Aries in the fifth house, and Chiron is in Taurus in the seventh house. These two are having a sextile with each other and having a lot of fun. This is your communication. Mercury is in the fifth house. It's like talent and physical, like, right, physical fitness and your ability to almost communicate with your body. And this is also, I see the fifth house as like a stage, or like going to concerts and things like that. So this is also a very youthful energy, but it's all about our communication and our ideas connecting with the youthful energy, your Chiron. They're having a lot of fun. And actually, they do a crossover because it's a crossover into the third quadrant. So it's giving this, like, I can have fun in an adult, mature way and be playful. Like, there's a lot of energy here. And this moving with partnerships too. So you can have a lot of partnerships, right, that are really playful and they work really well together. And then the assignment is to bring in the psychology behind those things. Now, we also talked about Chiron being actually children. When you have Mercury with actual children, it's this beautiful connection between the two of them, the ability to communicate with children. You could help children learn how to, almost in those budding ages of maturation, learn how to work with each other and partner with each other. Then the assignment is connected to Pluto, which is all about, okay, well, getting more on a deeper level, on a more intimate level, but not taking it too far where, like, for example, Chiron and Pluto are rubbing each other badly, right, in the quincunx. And so it's like, is it too sensitive or is it too deep? These are things that could happen here. So, in giving you a personal look at it, I hope everyone else can mainly get from it what in your quincunx is rubbing each other wrong, and that's the base meeting the apex. Okay, so the base is loving each other together, and then when they start to communicate with the apex, that's where the difficulty is because of the five house difference. It's like this. It's a maturation. It's an involvement issue. Um, let's look at Rhea's. Okay, so we did Chiron. So the other one is actually also ascendant is in the base and with Chiron, and so they work very well together in knowing how to present oneself as a deeply sensitive person and understanding like who we are. And empathic as well, right? There's a lot of presenting oneself as empathic with the Neptune and ascendant wanting to work with each other. And it actually already works well here, which is interesting with yours because if the planets are already kind of trying to do the same thing with each other, then it will work out. So typically, your Chiron, which is at the base, connecting with the third party, the Neptune, would rub each other the wrong way. But because Chiron is this sensitive inner child, children, and Neptune being kind of like that humbling energy, it can work very well in the sense of you're this almost like enjoyable presence for many people, and it's many people's inner child, it's your inner child, they would just work really well together. But I find like that they will still rub each other wrong when it's like, remember what I said about Neptune being like King Triton, and the energy that can be too like overbearing. So these are things that may be happening to your own inner child, making you too sensitive, too overly critical or too fearful. And so the assignment doesn't really play itself out. That's because of Neptune and Chiron. So sometimes they'll work really well because they both want to be healing agents, but they work against each other sometimes for those reasons. So, in looking at your apex and your base, you're able to recognize how your yod is having friction with each other. Okay, so through that explanation and just dissecting each yod, let me know your feedback if you're lost, if you want me to go into a different direction with the time that we have left. And, what is it that you want to get more from understanding your God based off of the apex and the base? If there's anything.
No, honestly, it's pretty straightforward as far as like, with the base being having fun and then you finding out when the inner child, I mean, as far as with me, with the inner child coming in, how are we going to bring the psychology part in there, like
Mm-hmm.
without being too deep or sensitive? And it makes sense to me because I was just talking to one of my kids today.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to navigate in the way that I was speaking to her, like, I don't want to be too sensitive and, make anybody cry. I don't want to be too deep, but allow them to be able to open up, still learning how to trust me. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Patient. So knowing when to bring in the psychology and knowing when to just listen.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I like that.
Right. So for me, that's what the example is. And I just finally got into the substitution position now. And my first assignment is as a PE teacher. So it's very it's very
That
I
is
chose
perfect.
teacher, but I like to be able to have fun.
Yeah.
I like to have fun, but I also know how to talk to them when I need to talk to them when it needs to be a little bit more serious. So
Right. Absolutely.
that that's my feedback. The
Any
only thing that
questions like about specifically your chart or anything?
no,
Okay.
I know a little bit about
Yeah.
astrology, so I'll probably be paying attention to this. And the
Yeah.
one thing that I would say that really, really stood out to me that you said is that when you create that story, maybe when you're in a funk, see what's happening, what's being rubbed the wrong way when you're in a funk. Like
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, I just was not with it. Like
Yeah.
something was off. My kids weren't here, and I'm just like, what is life? What am
What's
I doing?
right?
Then all of a sudden, I got over it, and then took off
Yeah.
again. So that's just kind of how I have to learn how to ebb and flow in it. But yeah,
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Um, Rhea or Harmony, you guys can chime in when you want. I'm just gonna start pulling up the last bit that I want to do here.
I just found the confirmation interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I have a way of speaking and or speaking to and making other people's inner children feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
So people love me for that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I struggle sometimes because I'm a mom of a 21-year-old. I've been in my career for 21 years. Like, I'm supposed to be this figure of authority in certain ways,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm skipping down a hallway singing show tunes, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I read that. I can, and I got a 16-year old and a 70-year-old. So yeah,
like last year for Christmas, I got my whole household big wheels, right? Like, we're all adults, but we are all in the street riding these tricycles. um, um, so trying to find that balance between nurturing the inner child, like my just everybody be aware, my inner child is very happy, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we good over here, right? But having, it's almost like I am resistant to being the adult or being the authoritative figure when I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what it is. Like, when I just don't want to be, it's just like all heck breaks loose, and I end up doing nothing because I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. And where do you think that you are moving in the right direction in it? Do you trust that you don't want to do it, or do you feel like you're moving in the wrong direction? Like, how do you feel about it?
So these days it's kind of interesting. I am newly married. So having another adult around, like, I'm learning to throw some things in their court, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I can trust that, yes, this is something I don't want to do, but now it's something I don't have to do. So I don't have to feel burdened by, for instance, you know, disciplining my son, right? He still lives at home. He is an adult, but not. You guys remember what it's like to be 21. um, so there are some things that I can go to my wife about, even though it's not like it's not her son. She doesn't have any children, but there are things that I need to be okay with letting somebody else take. Not that I want to be the fun parent, it's just I don't want to deal with certain things.
Mm-hmm. And that will be helpful because I'm still working on your YOD reading, so I can go in depth for you with that and with that information too. um, Harmony, if you're there, you can interrupt me at any time. Let's move to the final thing that I wanted to do, which, I just like formulas and playing with ideas. So I wanted to bring in the gene keys. And so also, everyone here, except for Harmony, everyone else here has their decks. So you can use that also. You can find your gene key and place them out like the configuration of your yod and connect to it that way. Harmony, your deck is coming.
Mind,
So I'm still
mind blown.
um so yeah, everything that I do in the workshops I've done or am planning to do. So, I'm really just excited to share how powerful it is when you connect to it in these different ways. Um, okay, so we're going to go through everyone's. And what I'm going to do is give you. Now, everyone's design is different, but I believe everyone does have their archetype. Either way, you're going to get it today. So I'll start with harmonies so that you can have time to chime in whenever you want. So let's first start with Jupiter, okay? So, okay, sorry, I thought I had it right in front of me. Jupiter 10 degrees. Libra. Okay, so Harmony, you have Jupiter at 10 degrees Libra. This is going to be gene key 48, which is the librarian. This is also connected to your assignment, the librarian. So I gave you like all your assignments based off the astrology. Now we'll look at it through the gene keys. And so when you're looking at this, you can also use the gene key system to help you understand your assignment on a deeper level. Being the librarian, it's the gift of resourcefulness. And this is the thing that is coming in to your threesome party, is the gift of resourcefulness. And then your ascendant. Wait, let me read that right. Yes. Your ascendant, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Gosh, it's either gene key 55 or 37. I'm gonna get back to you on yours. If I pulled out your cards, your card mock-ups, I could probably tell you. But the chart that I'm reading it's hard for me to read the degrees. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's at the bottom. There we go. I'm not reading my typical chart. That's why. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's 37. So you're and 37, right, is the mother. Okay. So the apex of your assignments, right, is the librarian and the mother. Okay, Jamekia, for you, we have Pluto here. Okay. Just give me a second. Pluto, 1 degrees. Scorpio. And actually, Raya, I wonder if your Pluto is in a similar position. 4 degrees Scorpio, 1 degree Scorpio. Let's see. No, it's not. Okay. All right. So 1 degree Scorpio is 50 for Jamekia. This is the maestro. This is the maestro. So your apex for your Pluto apex is the maestro. Let's look at Chiron. 28 Taurus. 8. Okay, I believe that's the influencer. Yes, the influencer. So your 2 assignments is the maestro and the influencer. Okay. So in understanding your gene key cards, and when you look at them, you'll be able to also connect them. Oh, I already said that. All right. So, and then the final person is Freya. And let's look at yours. Okay, so we have Neptune. 3 degrees Capricorn. Mutable. Cardinal. Oh. Sorry, 318. Sorry, guys. Okay, gene key 10. My mind is getting a little blank. Okay, so gene key 10 here. The natural. The natural. And then the final one. And I do want you to take it your time, so focus on the assignments first, because that's already a lot. Gemini. Chiron, 3 degrees. 3 degrees, Gemini. It's 20. So the natural and the tranquil. The natural and the tranquil. So you can use these in your formulas. This is how I would do it to help you with your assignments and understanding your agency and why your finger of God is so important. Now, there's different things that you can apply also, because you guys, in varying degrees already study astrology. So also consider its placement in the house system, right? And how that's also working itself out. So, for example, with Rhea, we've got Neptune. Sorry, guys. Going back and forth between this. Let's actually do Chiron, because it's so hard to read. Okay, 3 degrees Gemini. Okay, the tranquil in the 11th house. Okay, great. So we're looking at, for example, Rhea has Chiron as the tranquil. Now let's remember that her assignment is Chiron, and the energy is about our inner child wounds, right? And connecting to our inner child and also to children, right? And then we have the 11th house, and we have the tranquil. So we have this energy of the 11th house that's connected to a network or a group, and it's connected to our ability to have alliances and friends. And so the inner child and the assignment of the inner child or children is connected to alliances, and it's also connected to this energy of the tranquil. The gene key of the tranquil is the gift of self assurance. So this could be like a network of self assurance, a group that helps children or people who are connecting to their inner child be working with this energy. It also is connected to you being and having your own organization or having people who follow you, being an somebody that people want to know about your lifestyle. So this works really well with Raya because her her energy with Chiron and Neptune, they rub each other the wrong way until they work in that purpose of being charitable and being more compassionate. So you're basically just putting these ideas together and helping you see the energies that can guide you, right? So it's not necessarily a destination, but it's just playing with these ideas and creating these formulas. And using the gene keys will help, especially with your cards, to like see it all. So I'm pretty much done with everything that I wanted to cover on my list. The apex, going through everyone's chart, the foundations, going through everyone's chart, the gene keys, and getting your feedback. Um, if there's anything you have questions for, the floor is open, and I'm happy to answer.
I only have one question.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what we did tonight, but I did buy the 2024 the calendar breakdown for.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten a reading from you yet, but I
Okay.
plan on doing that.
Mhm.
But I think you had said something about you were done with it, so that's why I didn't really say much about it. But you said maybe I'll just join the class, and
Yeah.
then when you do that, I'll pay for the class for that, and then I'll
Yeah.
be able to, because I'm gonna go ahead and print it out,
Okay.
and then I'll have it, and that way when I'm in the class, I'll know what the deal is.
That's exactly what I'll do. In the readings, I went through the whole year with everyone.
Right.
Harmony, I actually have yours. So yeah, when I do the classes, we'll go almost month to month. So that's
Okay.
how we'll do it with them. But there's like if you click it in the PDF, and you guys
Mm-hmm.
can ask me any questions too about your stuff or anything. This is a great time to do that. If you click it in the PDF, it will take you to it will take you to a playlist of 3 videos. And you
Okay.
could get started in the beginning because the beginning is like goal setting and placing those out. It's a little like it's a Moon and Gemini video, let me tell you. Like I'm going like crazy through the first video, but and it's kind of long, so I don't expect you to watch everything, but it will guide you a little bit. And then,
Okay.
yeah, when I do, I'm going to start next week and start with that open class. I'm excited about that.
Okay, cool. Then ladies, I definitely gotta, my youngest is constantly calling me on the computer because I blocked him on the phone. And I gotta get this toy that I ordered him, Ninjago. But it was beautiful being here. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank
As
you.
always, it's nice to meet you ladies.
Thank you
too.
so much.
All right.
Okay, have a
Bye.
good night.
You too.
Karina, I have a question slash comment.
Okay.
So I often, it's only half a joke, but I often joke about wanting to be a cult leader. Um, which sort of fits into that inner child and having a group and helping folks with some self assurance. An ethical cult leader, not like the regular ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
am I am I? I guess the question is, am I on the right track in that way of thinking? All jokes aside, my goal is to um, in the next 3 years buy some land and sort of build a commune of sorts
Mm-hmm.
that really focuses on um, I guess a decent way to say it is like peaceful play,
Yes.
allowing people to play, but still incorporating that meditation and that healing piece. Am I on the right track?
You sure are. In fact, in New York, we have something like that. It's just not as meditative, like these rented out play spaces, and it's almost right in alignment with what you're kind of saying, which is are these communal spaces where people get to talk, commune together, and for you, yes, the child aspect of it is absolutely on assignment. I mean,
Perfect. So my
yeah.
goal is this summer, well, starting this spring, to have these adult play dates where,
Wow.
we get a group of folks together, we can ride the big wheels. I'll tell you a secret offline about how I got double the amount of big wheels for not double the amount of money. Little Amazon trick. But but to ride big wheels and be outside on the yoga trapeze and um have meditative coloring sessions and things like that. But having like these play dates, but geared towards adults.
Yeah.
Um, it's been swimming in my brain for years, and I've just never made it actually happen. But my one of my goals for this year is to actually host some events and get things done to get the ball rolling. So thank you, because now I know that I'm on the right track and I'm not completely crazy. Because sometimes
Yes.
I talk about this stuff and people are like, "What is wrong with you?"
Right. No, you
Like, you're
are,
almost 40. Like, what do you do?
you're spot on. I mean, it's so exciting to hear because it's like, the astrology can be a theory or it can really play itself out. And it's exciting to hear how it plays itself out with what you're doing. I think it's
Awesome.
spot on. I mean, I'm excited, for that and what it's going to bring to the community. Absolutely. And you know what? Because your ascendant is a part of one of your apex, one of your foundations, it there's a way in which you will be even more just able to meet different types of people and kind of be in your comfortable kingdom. Um,
Okay.
I love that. So, yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll be going more in depth now, especially knowing after talking to you. So, thank you for I've been behind on a lot of my work for both of you guys. So thank you for the patience, and honestly, you see how in depth I go. So me taking time actually enriches it. So I appreciate your patience with me. Um,
Oh, of course.
so thank you guys. I think we'll close it for today. Like I said, I'm gonna start doing the planning groups. So that's free. It starts next week, and I'll probably do it every other week as long as I have someone with my daughter. I think no, Harmony still has to have hers. Rhea, I don't know if I Yeah, I did a 2024 with you. So you're
Yes.
welcome. I mean, you don't have to at all. It's just if you feel like it to join. So you'll see me post about that, or I'll probably message you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you guys the best on your journey with the YOD. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
All right, bye bye.